Donald Trump traveled to the Middle East and didn't stop in Israel. Instead, he struck huge arms deals with Gulf countries that could challenge Israel's military edge in the region. So is Israel really losing touch with its most important ally? Trump doesn't seem to think so.
You're not going to Israel. Does this trip sideline Israel at all?
No, not at all. No, this is good for Israel. Having a relationship like I have with these countries, Middle Eastern countries, essentially all of them.
But the relationship has changed.
At the beginning of this administration, when we saw that this is such a supportive administration, we definitely thought that we can do whatever we want and get the full support of the United States.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu didn't even try to hide his excitement during his first visit to the White House when Trump announced plans to take over Gaza and resettle its population. But during his second visit to the White House in April, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu failed to get Trump to drop US tariffs on Israeli imports. Instead, Trump caught Netanyahu off guard by announcing talks with Iran over a nuclear deal that didn't involve Israel. Later in April, 2 days after the Houthis struck Israel's main international airport, the US announced a ceasefire agreement with the Iran-backed rebels in Yemen, again without involving Israel. The Houthis are still launching missiles at Israel while the war in Gaza continues. And in May, Israeli-American hostage Idan Alexander was released from Gaza thanks to a deal brokered directly between the US and Hamas. Israel again appeared not to be involved. 58 Israeli hostages remain captive in Gaza, and Israel's military has intensified its offensive in recent days. That's in line with a cabinet decision to expand the war, take more land, and forcibly displace Gaza's population.
The US wants to see Israel finishing the war in Gaza. For Trump, it was extremely important to finish the war in Gaza. He wants to see a complete or full hostage deal in order to move to the next phase in the Middle East, moving the normalization.
But what does normalization even mean? Well, that's where the Abraham Accords come in. They're a series of bilateral agreements between the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Israel, mediated by Trump's first administration. Israel has a huge interest in expanding the Abraham Accords because they're essentially peace treaties and would lessen Israel's isolation in the Arab world. Trump used his trip to reaffirm his grand plan for the Middle East.
It's my fervent hope, wish, and even my dream that Saudi Arabia, a place I have such respect for, especially over the last fairly short period of time, what you've been able to do, but will soon be joining the Abraham Accords.
But Saudi Arabia and many other Arab countries say this won't happen unless Israel ends the war in Gaza and there's a clear path to Palestinian statehood. So far, it seems the US isn't pressuring Israel to do so, and Trump's interest to reshape the Middle East could still benefit Israel. He also met with Syria's new president, and shortly afterwards, reports in Israeli media emerged of direct talks between Israel and Syria.
Trump is laying the foundation. He's doing the groundwork in which Israel can join this train of diplomacy.